Peace and understanding, family. It's yours truly, the professor, with some information to be shared about particular HBCUs. I'm working on putting together some pieces so we can look at the etymology of some of these places and their legacy and therefore their historical value. And the institution that I'm going to address now is Grambling State University, located in Grambling, Louisiana, right near Ruston, which both of these municipalities are in Lincoln Parish. But just as with the students at Southern University, maybe 1 out of 20, if you stopped and asked one of them, tell me something about the legacy of your school, they probably would be silent. When I went to Grambling, uh, a lot of this information that I'm about to tell you now, if my memory serves me correctly, I don't recall ever being explained to us. Be that as it may, we know that for the most part, if we look at the proper chronologue and understand when these institutions came into being, Reconstruction era, we should know what that is, that period of time after the Civil War when the states were being admitted, the rogue states were being admitted back into the Union of the United States of America, and they had to modify their constitutions, et cetera, et cetera. So the great conundrum, the great turmoil that America as a whole faced is that what would we do with 20 million illiterate people that were in a chattel slavery situation that were never allowed to leave the one plantation that they lived on? That's a major ill. So they decided they had to create some form of education, but blacks were at the forefront of wanting to educate their own. So the United States came up with some ideas for land grant institutions. If a group of colleagues had gotten together and had a game plan with some vision and presented it to the right governmental entity, got that thing legislated, and they received monies to open a school. This is why you see Southern University and A&M College, et cetera, et cetera. There's a lot of schools that hold the moniker Florida A&M College. Because for the most part, in the infancy of higher education, we were still being taught agricultural and field type work. Yes, there was a high demand for teachers because teachers were needed to instruct. Teachers were needed to instruct. But here's the thing I wanted to share for my Gramblingites that may not know. Grambling was named after a gentleman. His name was P.G. Grambling. He was a white man. He was a slave owner, and he owned a sawmill, which he donated a parcel of land to be used to educate the niggerers or Negroes. It depends on what day it was and how he felt. Okay? Initially, the school was entitled the Northern Louisiana Agricultural and Industrial School. That was the original name. The Northern Louisiana Agricultural and Industrial School. What does that ring to the mind? What is it? What do you think when you hear that? Agricultural and mechanical. They're not talking about brain surgery. They're not talking about open heart surgery. They're not talking about operating cameras or studying law. Not at that point. But the school became Grambling College in 1944. Grambling College. Then subsequently we transitioned years later to Grambling State University. And there's a lot that goes into that with the Board of Regents and system schools and the runnings of Louisiana's businesses. But I thought anybody out there from Grambling would be shocked to know that this little small town of Grambling, yes, slavery occurred there too. Yes, some empathetic Europeans donated land. It was a gift and a curse. I look at it very pessimistically. Yes, he donated some land, but what was the real agenda? There's always another agenda beneath. You have to delve through the layers and understand. But just we keeping this real light, and I just wanted to point this out. The original name of Grambling State University comes from P.G. Grambling, a slave owner, and he owned a sawmill. He donated a parcel of land to the parish that they could do something, I guess, considered to be a normal occupation. They weren't talking about major paradigm shifts. So they tried to keep that thing together. So family, if you like the video, like it, like the content, subscribe. I just wanted to throw this out for those that may not know, may have not known that. We're going to talk about Southern J State, just as a little something extra. I mean, even Howard University is named after a white soldier from the Civil War. That's where all things like the Freedmen's Bureau and all these things had their origins. So we need, these are things we need to know. You need to be aware of those things. So brothers and sisters, peace, always investigate the information you receive. If it is indeed the truth, it will stand the test of investigation. Peace.